It was a radiant afternoon, with sunlight filtering through the sheer curtains of my quaint seaside cottage. I can still hear the warmth in my own laugh as I casually said, "Why don't you just come live with me?" It was just a playful remark to ease the quiet pause in our conversation. I never dreamed he'd take it to heart. But when Liam turned up on my doorstep the next morning, gripping a battered duffel bag with hands that trembled like autumn branches, his eyes shadowed by untold burdens, I realized it had been his beacon. If you treasure stories of empathy, healing, and new beginnings, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Whispered Hearts. Let's spread narratives that encourage the world to open its arms to compassion once more. Liam had always been the mysterious presence in our sleepy coastal town, a thoughtful man in his mid-30s whose gentle smiles seldomly brightened his gaze. He'd moved into the faded bungalow along the path about 8 months ago, but no one knew his story. Rumors swirled of a fractured past, maybe a lost love or a sorrow too profound to utter. I'd see him nurturing his tiny vegetable patch at first light, clad in his worn gray shirt and khaki pants, his dark hair catching the breeze like drifting shadows. As for me, I'm Alina, 42, a potter who shapes clay into vessels inspired by the ocean's waves. After my husband passed away 4 years earlier, I'd immersed myself in my studio and isolation. The cottage felt vast and empty, the night's endless echoes. So when I saw Liam wrestling with his shopping bags one windy afternoon, I stepped in to help. That simple kindness grew into traditions: herbal tea on the deck, evening suppers, and deep discussions about vulnerabilities we never intended to expose. That day, as we spoke of solitude, he murmured, "The hush in my home after sunset is overwhelming." I replied with a grin, "Well, you could always move in here. This place could use another rhythm." We chuckled together, but I noticed the glint in his eyes, part yearning, part hesitation. I didn't press. But when I opened the door the following morning and found him there, bag clutched tightly, his voice shaky as he asked, "Is that offer still open?" my pulse quickened. He looked so exposed, like someone who'd reached the end of their road. I could have questioned him or dismissed it as a jest, but his quiet desperation pierced through my barriers. I moved aside and said, "Yes, it absolutely is." And so it started. Two wounded spirits sharing a space, learning again what it means to feel the glow of connection. At first, it was tentative. He'd stick to his corner, making himself scarce, always checking before touching a thing. But little by little, the cottage came alive. The scent of spice soups filled the air once more, his soft laughter banishing the lingering stillness. He tended the neglected herb garden, coaxing fresh greens from soil where neglect had reigned, and he repaired the tattered cushions I'd long overlooked. For the first time in ages, I awoke to the melody of shared existence rather than hollow quiet. One dusk, I found him on the rear steps, staring at the rolling tides, his hands fidgeting. "I haven't told you everything," he admitted in a whisper. "I escaped a life that was tearing me apart. I thought I could rebuild on my own, but I couldn't." He shared no more, and I didn't ask for details. I just nodded, my voice catching, and replied, "You're protected here. That's all that truly matters." As weeks flowed into months, I saw him mend. He began writing again, words flowing onto pages like waves on the shore, crafting tales of serenity. I'd catch him murmuring lines aloud as he worked, and it felt like the whole home sighed in relief. That's when I understood. Maybe he wasn't the one being saved. I was the one being lifted from my own depths. On a stormy night when the electricity failed, we gathered by lantern light, savoring hot chamomile and unveiling our pasts, the roads forsaken, the errors, the persistent regrets. He looked at me, eyes shining, and asked, "Do you ever long to erase it all and begin anew?" I gave a gentle smile. Perhaps we already have. From then on, something evolved. No bold admissions, no dramatic scenes, just a deep, unspoken bond. We discovered comfort in each other, perhaps even love. But it was the subtle kind, growing like fog dispersing at sunrise over the water. Seasons turned, and one fresh morning as I molded clay in the garden, his cheerful voice floated on the air. He was engaging with a stray seagull that had begun visiting, his expression alive with pure joy. It halted me mid-motion. Here was the man who'd arrived fractured and lost, now beaming with a sense of place. In that moment, I grasped that love doesn't always burst forth with drama. Sometimes it enters through tender chuckles, dawn teas, and the quiet decision to endure. That night, as we relaxed on the deck beneath a canopy of stars, he turned to me and said, "When you joked about me staying, I thought it was just courtesy, but that act of grace transformed my world." I couldn't find the perfect response, so I simply reached for his hand. The ocean murmured softly, and for the first time in years, a profound calm enveloped me. We didn't need to name what we'd become. Two souls who'd at last found their harbor in one another. If this story stirred your emotions, please like, share, and subscribe to Whispered Hearts. Let's keep sharing tales that revive belief in serendipitous hope. And here's a special invitation. Comment below, what does home mean to you? Sometimes it's not a structure, it's the connection that makes you whole.